live. Uh, Cue the music. Welcome, one and all, to another edition of Everyone Hates Us, a podcast dedicated to the art of winning and the beautiful sport of baseball. And it seems like a lot of football these days. We're going to talk about some football. We're going to do it. But before we do that, we got to get into MLB free agent news. And we've had a notable signing since last week. Merry Christmas, Collin. The Arizona Diamondbacks have signed Corbin Burnes, former Cy Young winner, probably the second biggest prize in free agency this year, and just a perennially great pitcher. Collin, you guys did it. Merry Christmas. 210 over 6, about 10 to 11 million a year deferred. You guys pulling Dodger moves. And none of this can be chalked up to Hazen because Corbin Burnes literally approached your team and was like, hey guys, I live down the street. What do you think about working something out here? So, Murph, what are your thoughts? Like, what does this do for your team?
Well, I mean, I think heading into this year, I complained the whole down the stretch about our 29th ranked starting pitching rotation by WAR. I thought we were kind of set there. We were just going to roll back the same guys who kind of struggled last year. Very stoked that we got a guy who's been, if nothing else, just an absolute workhorse. This guy comes out and he pitches a lot of innings. The K rate has been declining over years, which I think gave some people some pause, but this is a very reasonable contract. I love it for the Diamondbacks. This shows that we're kind of making a move to try and compete, get back in the playoffs after kind of disappointingly falling out last year. I'm pretty stoked. It does seem like every 5 years or so, Ken Kendrick makes a YOLO check on a free agent pitcher. We did it with Greinke, we done it with Mad Bum, and now we do it here. I guess you could also throw in that insane Yasmani Tomas contract when he got annoyed with the Dodgers with Puig. So I can only say thank you, Dodgers, because I think the Blake Snell signing is probably what triggered this. And if there's nothing that gets Kendrick to open up that wallet, it's his hatred of the Dodgers. And no, this is awesome. I'm really stoked for the upcoming year. I don't think we're done making moves at the moment. I still think that we're going to try and get rid of Montgomery's contract. I think the payroll is still higher than what we probably want it to be heading into the season. So I'm interested to see how we kind of work around that. If not Montgomery, it could be Eduardo Rodriguez. Like, there are a couple different options there. But I don't think we go into the year with this payroll. And with that said, there's still some other moves that we need to make around the margins. We don't really have a right-handed DH option at the moment. So like we're gonna get a right-handed bat somewhere down the line. But outside that, the rest of this team's pretty much set. We probably need a bullpen arm, but I mean, I think every MLB team in the league says that. So yeah, I'm excited. Christmas come late, but not too late. And we've had a bad track record with free agent pitching recently, but this is finally someone we're getting that's more in their prime and not getting someone on the tail end of it.
Collin, of course, alluding to Madison Bumgarner and his sweetheart deal for the Diamondbacks, which worked out kind of like a fart in church. That was a rough deal, but this is
we're still paying him too. This $5 million this upcoming season.
That's incredible. It's the Luol Deng of MLB pitching contracts. It's the gift that keeps giving. Good God. Well, moving on from a player who is joining the D-backs to a player who recently left the D-backs to sign with the Texas Rangers, as Collin alluded. They do need help at DH because Jock Peterson, he of the, 250 OPS plus last year. What did he bat? Like something insane. Like obviously not 250, but like he was an incredible bat for the D-backs last year. And he is now signing with the Texas Rangers and rejoining Corey Seager, his former Dodger teammate. They both came up through the Dodgers organization, were very prized prospects, and are now both playing at Globe Life. Jock left, and he said something really interesting when he arrived in Texas. Okay, and I'm paraphrasing. Maybe I shouldn't paraphrase. Maybe I should pull this quote up. What did he say? Yes. Oh, man, it's even better than I thought it was. Okay. So Jock says, we played the Astros in the World Series. They put together a nice little run. It's coming to an end. It's time for us to take over the West. Calling that a nice little run is that's like number one. Like, it's coming to an end, he said, which is bold. That, I mean, and since I declared it was over, obviously the Astros have given no indication that they think it's over. And so it's kind of interesting for Jack to be saying that. And we broached this topic again. But I got a question for you guys. Rangers AL West division champs next year? Like, is that plausible to you? Like, I don't know. Does it like kind of track? Like, what do you think it's at? And I'll reveal the odds in a second. The futures odds. Yeah.
I mean, they won the World Series last year. Most of that team is still around. That if they stay healthy, and especially if they get something out of DeGrom this year, like I could easily see them winning the division. Like the Astros, I wouldn't be playing taps for them myself, but they'll still be good, and the Mariners will probably be competitive. But the Rangers still have a bunch of talent, and they have Corey Seager. Like I could see them winning the division.
They actually have a fair number of like promising rookies between Wylingford,
Evan Carter.
Evan Carter. Like they got some young talent on the rise too. So here are the odds. I'll read them out to you. Just for the lulz, okay? In dead last, and these are for the AL West division winners. In dead last, hopefully you guys know by now, it's the Angels plus 4,000.
I actually wasn't sure if it was the Angels or the A's.
The A's are right there. They're right there. Plus 3,000.
Yes.
Plus 3,000. They're not the Sacramento A's, Colin. They're just the A's.
Actually, do think it's funny that we're calling them the Sacramento A's just because the one team that they have there are the Sacramento Bees.
Right.
So we need another sport and get the Sacramento Seas out there.
I also think the official paper of record of that city is the Sacramento Bee.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
that was it.
So we need the Sacramento Crips to.
I think it's the Salt Lake City Bees is the minor league team.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got now. It's kind of a three-way race at the top. So Astros plus 105, they're the favorites. That's like close to odds on, which is wow. Okay. Mariners plus 240, Rangers plus 240. So Vegas has them basically tied with the Mariners to take the division. But I think the AL West is going to be a very spicy division next year, at least like internally, like not necessarily like competitive with other divisions to that degree, but I think definitely that's going to be a pretty spicy division. Exciting baseball to watch.
I don't buy that Mariner odds thing. What have they done to make people think they're going to be real challengers? That offense is still horrible. I mean, I know in our even offseason projections, we were predicting them to pick up some bat. They haven't done anything at all. That team does farm pitching like no one believes, but I mean, I think it's going to be a Texas two-step, and it's going to be those two just
like
kind of
that.
taking
Call it
away.
Texas. Murph said Texas two-step. That's real nice. Well, to counter that point, because I'm a Mariners are my AL team. Yeah, they do farm pitching. Nobody hits there. Okay, that's the thing. So you just muck up a bunch of games and screw the Pythagorean. It's just going to be like the run differential is going to be like 0, and they're going to be like 10 games in front of 500. Is the hope. I think that's Mariners baseball. Is like, you know what? We can't score, but neither can you. All right, like. So whoever can bunt better is winning this thing. That's really like what it comes down to. And so I think if the Mariners change their approach or their pitching stays the way it's been, and they're trying to move Luis Castillo, it looks like, for a big time bat or like some big time help on offense, which like can't blame them. J-Rod had a super down year. I don't see that happening again. It better not. Or my kid's going to community college. I'm just kidding. But yeah, J-Rod had a super down year. I just don't see that happening again. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff on that team. I just think the Marine Layer and like that area is just like, I don't know what it is about that stadium. I mean, the park dimensions aren't favorable either, but like, God, balls are just not leaving. Like, it's just like, all right, hope you guys have a good defensive outfield because it's gonna be a lot of balls out here. Yeah, so I'm obviously, and I agree with Collin, they should not be tied with the Rangers. I think the Rangers actually have a better shot. By a little, by maybe like 50 points. Like I'd make it plus 190 Rangers, plus 280 or plus 290 Mariners, maybe like split it out that way. But still, they're in the mix. Next topic. Sorry, unless Dan, you had anything to add there.
I mean, all I was gonna say was when the Mariners signed Pete Alonso for 180 mil, then that'll change the
165. Okay. Speaking of which, we got an update, obviously, on our contract estimator game. Dan.
Yeah,
Dan's winning this thing. I don't really know how to put it. Dan's winning this thing. I'm pretty sure he has the plurality of the points available at this point.
I haven't clinched yet.
Shut up.
Dude. Have you not?
Price has righted me on Juan Soto.
I think since there's 3 left and you can get a maximum of 10, and my margin is 20 something, if someone nails all 3 predictions with the team, they could, you could catch up.
That's one thing we've struggled with as a team. It's these team predictions have been pretty rough. Dan, if he does go to the Mariners for 180, first of all, shame on them.
Yeah,
shame on the Mariners. How dare you? You know how many players you could have paid that money and you didn't? Oh my Lord. Good God. It's like the Robinson Cano contract. It was just what the hell are you doing? Why? Jay-Z, why did you do that?
Ownership's still using that as an excuse why they're not signing people.
I would use it as an excuse, but it's remember that time I jumped into a wood chipper and died? That's why I don't jump into wood chippers. What the hell are you talking about? 240 over, what the hell? I still don't believe that contract. That's insane to me. Pete Alonso 180 over 7 would be basically a smaller wood chipper.
Yeah, that was not my best pick, but I've made some other pretty good ones.
That would be incredible. Yeah, no, you're winning the stupid game, which is a stupid game now because we're all losing and only Dan's winning. For a podcast called Everyone Hates Us, we're just going to call it Everyone Hates Dan, and this is repugnant. Collin and I are in a pillow fight for second place. I think I might be able to pull it out. I do have 3 of them. But the actual position doesn't matter as much as getting the teams right. And Murph still has pretty good odds on teams. Collin unfortunately has Pete Alonso going back to the Mets at 150 million, which apparently he thinks Steve Cohen just has infinite money glitch. He does not. He does not. His GM actually knows a thing or two about managing the CVT, believe it or not. And what do we got? Bregman going to the Yankees, which was looking good for a while. So Bregman, I think the market for Bregman is hot. I think people are looking to make a final splash going into this spring training and pitchers and catchers reporting. You kind of want to make a boom. All right, get excited. Move some season tickets. So, but Dan, Tigers for Bregman. I've got the Blue Jays, who haven't done SHIT all off season. And then Murph's got the Yankees, which also a really good destination. I think they're both good shots.
Whoa, Blue Jays were in on Corbin Burnes, but
Blue Jays are in on everybody, dog. They're like the freaking Red Sox. It's just kicking the tires, just kicking the tires. Yeah, just kicking the tires.
In hindsight, we should have known Burnes the Diamondbacks because the Diamondbacks have had every single player with the first name of Corbin in MLB history has played for the Diamondbacks.
No way. That can't be true. That's so crazy.
Corbin Martin, Corbin Carroll, and Corbin Burnes.
And bonus points for having Patrick Corbin. That was also
exactly
there.
Yeah. We just monopolized Corbins.
They found the real market inefficiency.
Yeah, it's the players named Corbin. 2 guys named Corbin, and they're the 2 best players on the team. What are the odds? It's just Corbin, no, other Corbin, best player on the team. Corbin, which one?
So remind me when this game does end, I have to pick a jersey for whoever the last place team is.
Has to wear. Yeah.
Okay,
that's right. Which is, I can't wait for you to get him a nice Dodgers Zach Greinke jersey or something like that.
This is why Yeah, I don't even know what you two would do to each other. You guys have a lot of
Oh,
overlap. You'd have to go.
We have a lot of
different
overlap,
families.
but
Yeah.
like
I
our
was
NFL
thinking,
teams are different.
I was thinking, one of my NFC East rookies would be a good one.
Mm.
You know
that
what
you've
would
been
really
talking
kill
shit
me?
on all year.
Not to give you any hints, but if
Jane Daniels jersey.
if you get me a Terrell Owens Cowboys jersey, like I'm pretty sure I'll just self-immolate. Like that might be the one jersey where once I'm done with the bet, I will publicly burn it. That's the one jersey I just cannot. Oh my god! And I know I'm putting myself out there like that, but I cannot. I don't care about Jaden Daniels. Whatever, he's fine. Terrell Owens in a Cowboys jersey is like, just, you know what? Just end it now.
Yeah.
So Murph, the stakes are high because that is an unfathomable amount of sports troll. I cannot imagine a player I want to wear less. You know, like that is. I literally cannot imagine a jersey I want less than that one. So I put that out there for you, Dan. But with the confidence of knowing that I'm probably coming in second and Murph is probably coming in third. So pick out a nice Dodger jersey that he has to buy.
I'll be brainstorming, guys.
Or OJ Simpson. We could always get him OJ Simpson jersey.
Oh yeah. Oh, that'd be a bad one.
Because if I won, I was gonna get him Vikings Favre, obviously, because that was but
I don't think Dan would do that to me.
Dan wouldn't do that to you. You're very lucky Dan came out in front because I had good ones for both of y'all.
I was gonna get you a Westbrook Lakers jersey.
That might be second worst jersey I can think of. Yeah,
it's a good one.
That one hurts. Or a Timothy Mozgov or Luol Deng jersey. like really making me upset. Just like remind me about those 2 contracts we signed that set us back like 3 years. Oh my lord. Oh. I hate this segment. We need to do something else.
I'm enjoying the segment. This is great.
Oh, Dan's out in front. Yeah, no, he's everyone hates Dan. Screw Dan. But so far so good, Dan. Looking great. Let's move on to our next segment. What did I have here? Oh, we're gonna do awards. We were supposed to do a Roki watch, but here's the thing: like Roki hasn't really said anything. He's held meetings. I heard he's rebuffed a couple East Coast teams. I believe the Tigers or the Red Sox tried to reach out to him, and nothing really happened there. And then Tigers also reached out to him, and nothing really happened there yet. He might be coming back and taking meetings with them after he gets back for the holidays. But Roki has taken meetings with, I believe, 6 teams so far, and then flew back to Japan for the holidays, and he'll be back after the holidays. And he's probably so Joel Wolf at Wasserman, which by the way, the Wasserman building is like, it's so close. It's so close to my place. I just want to like, Roki, no, come with us. You can literally see the Wasserman sign from my balcony. Like it's just like right there. You can read it out. It's in plain. That's how close I live to the Wasserman building. I was like, Roki, if I catch you at like Zanku Chicken, like you have to stay. Like, don't go anywhere. Don't you love it here? The food's so good. Yeah. So we should have done a Roki update, but we're not quite there yet.
Yeah, there's not much.
He's coming back anyway. Who cares? All right, it's the end of the year, which means we do a list just like everybody else. But we're gonna do an awards list. We're gonna kind of give out awards. So the best, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the MLB season, including the offseason of 2024 and the postseason. So we're gonna go through a couple of these categories. I had the boys nominate, each of us nominate one play or one thing for each of these categories. We'll duke it out. I cut some of these out, boys, like out of the thing, so we'll just kind of like go with the ones I got. Yeah. Quick producer note there. All right, so
whatever
live producer note. Let's do that again. 3, 2, 1. It's the end of the year, folks. It's New Year's Eve. Today is New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. And we're going to go ahead and pick what happened in MLB, the best, the worst, the ugliest, in 2024, and that's including the regular season, the postseason, and the offseason so far, because the offseason's not over yet. But it all happened in 2024, so it's all fair game. All right, so we're gonna kick it off with best defensive play, and I'm gonna share my screen here so you guys, those of you who are watching on YouTube, feel free to tune in. Okay, so let's start with this Jurickson Profar, right? So best defensive play of the year. Ew, ads. Oh God. Hey, see, that's the thing I didn't see coming. Was that because I'm using Microsoft Edge? All right. Oh God, I hate this. I hate this play so much. All right, Collin nominated the Jurickson Profar home run robbery on Mookie Betts because he's a hater.
This is just a great play.
It's Profar back, tiptoeing to the corner. He's at the wall. It is. Nobody's sure yet. Now they say he caught it. Mookie Betts has rounded the bases thinking that it's a home run. Jurickson Profar says, I got it.
Oh, yeah, he was doing the old, I'm going to just milk this for about 15 seconds.
Okay, so there's Jurickson Profar.
Yeah, I mean, what else to say on that?
Max Fried,
Honestly,
the New York
pretty great
Yankees
troll
are
job.
agreement 8-year, 200.
I think everyone kind of thought he didn't catch that for a split second, and then to kind of have some words for the fans. Fans actually did a pretty good job, though. Like, they went after it, and he was able to kind of rip it away from him. Yeah, just a great play.
So my thing is, if you're in the stands, it's your effing job to catch that ball straight up and down. I don't care. It's your effing job. Like, how dare you let Jurickson Profar, of all people, come into your space? You know, like, it's different from the Yankees and Mookie Betts with the foul ball, because like they went into Mookie's, they like grabbed his glove and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah,
dude, make a play
once
on
he
the
catches
ball.
it,
Yeah, that's PI. Like, you can't go into his glove and try to pop the ball out. Okay, you're not playing the ball at that point. Okay, you need to play the ball. So that's my knock on it, is you should have been able to basically make a play on that ball so that doesn't happen. And then you get to hear, like, and I still remember the day after that, it's like, well, Mookie's so cold in the playoffs. I'm like, he hit a effing home run. Like, what more do you want? He hit an effing home run. Jurickson Profar is just doing it. Okay, so I don't know what to tell you guys. Here's my nomination. It's the triple play that clinched the postseason for the Padres. And mine is like pretty context dependent. So you see that it's Suarez. All right. So I don't know if you guys remember, but Robert Suarez was going through a rough stretch. Okay. And he was playing like doo-doo, selling games left and right. And again, it looked like, here we go again. All right. It's no outs, 2 on, 4-2. And I think I was texting Collin, like, he's gonna sell this game. Like, they're gonna sell this game. And for Miguel Rojas to hit a laser to third base, like absolute laser. Like, it was like, if that gets past, like, we're talking about Suarez needs to like a mound visit, probably pull him out of the game. And for it to be fielded, and I just want to give the Padres their credit, because you do have to field the triple play. You do have to actually execute on it. And it was so crisp. It was one of the best triple plays I've seen. It was super clean.
Very clean,
Yeah, execution was perfect. So spot on, and props to the Padres, because that was a hell of a play. It didn't really, like, I know a lot of people were upset about it, but I actually was like, it's hard to be upset at that. That's like such a clean play. Like, and then, well, you know, they're gonna make the playoffs anyway eventually. Like, who cares? You know,
Rojas,
so, like,
that game had a ground out, grounded into a double play, and then grounded into a triple play. Yeah.
He had the grounder cycle.
Yeah.
The grounder cycle. That is
a very rare achievement.
Yeah. Pretty rare. But there's my nomination. Yeah. Bailed out Suarez. That was the big thing. I was like, Suarez like probably got an extra confidence boost from that play, you know, to maybe like right whatever was going wrong with him, because he was selling games. Like, holy moly, Murph, you think the D-backs relievers were bad? Whew, this guy was, man. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. And then, of course, Dan with the most respectable. Here we go. And we've got
Yeah,
Michael
it was
Harris.
between this one and Andre Jimenez had a really nice play at second during the playoffs, which seemed more like important with context, but this one was the most impressive play. So I went.
He went full horizontal into the stands.
Did you share that one?
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't share. Microsoft Edge just being Microsoft Edge Lord.
With less than a month to play, they're really in the driver's seat. They are, and that's the beauty of putting yourself in that position.
Oh my God!
Hayes hits it deep to right center. Harris is back.
Oh, what's up, guys? Sorry, bullpen.
What a grab by Michael
nice.
Harris.
I mean, Penn has to do better there. Can't let him pitch.
You got to feel that ball. You got to feel that ball. Protect your zone, guys. Protect your house. What is this?
The way that Michael Harris went after this ball to.
All right, so who's the winner here? What do we got? All right, so Collins is. We're gonna assess the rationale for nomination real quick, and we're gonna do that. All right, and I'm gonna accuse Collin of just being spiteful and being a jerk.
Well, here, I'll defend myself a little bit on this. Like, I didn't necessarily pick like the best defensive play in the sense of like the toughest to make. I picked the best defensive plays in the moment and like the reaction and the confusion that it caused. Like, I mean, Joe Davis was confused on the mic.
They put the graphic up. They put the home run graphic up on TV.
Exactly. And, it's the playoffs. It was probably the most, probably most hyped playoff matchup that we had until the World Series, Dodgers, Yankees. And, it's two teams that have been kind of piping at each other for a little bit. And then Profar in the heat of a moment not only makes a hell of a play, but instantly goes straight into troll mode to get the fans, the players, and everyone on it. I just think it's a perfect encapsulation of a great defensive play and kind of the rivalry to an extent.
Props to Murph for picking a play that reflects how he would play the game, in the most jerk way possible. Let everybody know you stole the home run.
I mean, his name is Jerkson, so
his name is jobless right now. Like, his name is give me a contract quick. All right. And then Dan, yours was obviously a classic. Like, this is just a great play. Like, it's a beautiful home run robbery. I haven't seen like that kind of like horizontal leap type of thing. Like, that was like, what the hell? Part of me wanted to do the Chicago White Sox walk-off home run robbery. Where, like,
I had that one up too. The Jankowski.
Yeah,
that was.
You really could throw the White Sox in for a lot of these.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
Murphy said we're dunking on New York, but really, this could have turned real ugly for Reinsdorf real quick. Okay, like this is. Whew.
I watched that earlier today, and the face the White Sox batter makes, he's so defeated.
Oh God,
it reminds me of that Garrett Wilson quote or whatever. It's like we come in, we practice, the vibes are great, then we go and get our ass kicked. That's probably how the White Sox players felt this year.
It's all right. They're just playing in the major leagues. I think most of them are just happy to be here, guys. Like Miguel Vargas. He looked really happy to be there. Speaking of Miguel Vargas,
I would vote for Dan's if we're actually voting though.
If we're actually voting, we're voting for Dan's. All right.
I would vote for Dan's.
Okay. You know what we should do is just draft it through. So Murph, you get first pick. You pick Dan's. All right.
I pick Dan's.
Dan wins. All right. So the best defensive player of the year, Michael Harris the second. Horizontal catch over the fence. That was pretty sick. Yeah. All right. Murph, if we put effort into this, like we should have had one of the Bryce Terrain grabs on here. Like, like we didn't do anything.
Oh, I wanted to mention the Brewers because not just Terrain. Like for research, I just watched MLB's top 100 plays of the year video. And there's like 6 or 7 insane Brewers outfield grabs. Like they were just out there making insane catches all year. So, and none of those guys is like Bryce Terrain won the platinum. Like that. Yeah, that was a fun defense.
Very
as fun as you
defense.
can be on defense.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a team that wasn't fun on defense. Second category is biggest team chemistry fail. All right. And we're going to pick the team chemistry that looked the most horrendous. Like and so Collin, obviously he picked the White Sox.
I mean,
This is
category is
just
basically
messed up,
begging
dog.
for a White Sox highlight.
This is just messed up, bro.
I mean, the call just adds to this too.
Oh God, this is so brutal.
Yeah, and the truth is, if you have great stuff, you can challenge over the white part of the plate a little bit more and let your stuff just play. If you don't, you better figure out.
Oh no! Oh my goodness! The White Sox.
This is rough. All right,
White Sox have went full White Sox.
White Sox have gone full White Sox. That is a rough quote. A rough quote. All right. Doesn't require any explanation. Neither does this one. For my nomination, I picked the first base cover that never happened in the MLB in the World Series, Game 5, top of the 5th. This was a rough one. This was a rough one, boys. Here it is. Garrett Cole pointing like that's going to cover the bag somehow.
Go over there.
Hey, cover the bag. No, you cover it. Where were you? Hey, dude. Oh, are you serious? Oh my God. And it's Mookie Betts. I'm not going to beat him to the bag. That it was, again, context dependent. So
Context dependent, but it's hell of a context.
So Dan says it's the Cole point. Oh God! Oh no!
Actually,
Dan put his nominations in like an hour before showtime. So, oh my God, this one is. Oh, dude, I can't because we don't have the audio.
Okay.
But oh my Lord, this was so cringy. It's Michael K. and John Flaherty. Yeah. Oh my Lord. Okay, just look up Michael K. and John Flaherty. I don't have that video teed up, but that is one of the most awkward broadcasting.
The audio isn't on the link that I put in there.
The audio's on it, but it's like I can't play the audio for the listeners.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha.
yeah. Oh my Lord. Oh, that is. Oh man, I'm getting like goosebumps just thinking about it. Like that was one of the cringiest announcing booth like exchanges of all time. I think it's yeah. Oh,
so I have a friend that works in production, and when he saw that clip, because I clicking through, I realized which one you're talking about. The first thing he said was like, "How was there not like multiple producers in their ear yelling,
just
shut
screaming,
the hell up, move on, stop"? Like how?
I
were
bet
they
you
allowed
there
to
were
continue
though.
on that point.
Yeah, I bet you they were, and they just like won't stop because it's just like no, screw this, and just like insert
Cut
Jose
away.
Mourinho pulling off the headphones, like. This was just really
Whoa,
this
whoa,
was
whoa.
rough.
Mourinho would never do that. If I say something, I get fined. I say nothing. That's what Mourinho says. I have
then he
nothing to
says
say.
it all just by saying that.
Yeah. I talk him in big trouble. He knows.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so our winner here, we're gonna go Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah.
Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
Dan apparently voted for it, so that's the. It was ugly. That was not the moment you wanted. And like the John Boy breakdown like actually pointed out like it was Cole's fault, but it's not really Cole's fault because he like really built up the whole like Cole's tired. He's pitched like 40 times already. Like so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this ties into my heads up player of the year, so we can
So
continue
here we
talking
go.
about this as we transition.
Yeah, this is a great
I was
transition.
gonna show what a good first baseman would have done in there, because I agree it wasn't all Cole. Cole definitely deserves some problems there, but Rizzo deserves some heat as well. And Rizzo's a vet, and he should know better.
Yeah, I mean Rizzo, not great. Come on, Rizzo. That was not great.
As someone who's watched Gold Glove play at first base for pretty much the entire last decade, I can just say, that is not what a Gold Glove first baseman does.
So what does a Gold Glove first baseman do, Collin?
They would look to do something a little bit more like, the Gold Glove winner this year at first base.
So there's a bunt coming down the line, and Christian Walker splays full extension on the ground to field it with his toe touching the bag and gets the out.
You can see him take that peek and see that Fat isn't going to cover and decide that he's just got to take it himself, which I really do love the quick peek he takes there.
That is
nice.
This is an incredible play. This is a good pick, Collin. I like this one. Yeah, nicely done. So that's Collin's nomination for Heads Up Play of the Year. I picked the. Oh God. Oh Dan. All right, I picked a Kike Hernandez head fake in the NLCS that made Jesse Winker look like a total moron. Mostly because Jesse Winker already is a moron. We're just kind of pointing that out.
What is it with New York teams in base running this past year?
This was some choice base running from Jesse Winker. So they show the little deke. So basically, Kike Hernandez positions his body away from second, and at the last second sees Jesse Winker running for third, realizes he hasn't tagged up or anything or whatever. He's just gonna get caught in no man's land, and does a turn, basically like does a Derek Jeter throw, like over to second to basically catch Jesse Winker looking like a numpty. He was correct that Jesse Winker was just ready to the back for no reason. But hell of a heads up play.
So casual at the end too. I mean, one thing growing up playing football, what you used to always were taught was if you're gonna make a mistake, make it full speed. If he did anything full speed, go back to second, continue to run to third, he is safe. Like there's nothing Kike could have done, but the constant shuffling, and then I don't even know what he was doing at the end with the walk. It's just the indecision and the lackadaisical attitude is just
that is a hard part to watch. I agree, and that's the part that, you know, like I said, Jesse Winker is a numpty, and we all know that. He just showed us that he's a numpty. Speaking of numpties, the Rockies have Ryan McMahon steals home on a very casual throwback to the pitcher from. Oh my God!
Yasmani Grandal.
Oh, it's Grandal. Oh God!
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the Pirates. Oh my gosh! Oh no! All right, so pitch here, and then just a very lackadaisical toss back, and McMahon steals home. That's a hell of a play.
Look at the little
That is
deep
a heck of a
going
play.
back.
That is a heck of a play.
That is the least contested steal of home I've seen.
That is. I mean, I just freeze the frame. He's in the frame, and nobody's looking.
I think the pitcher saw him. He just realized there was nothing he could do. Once the ball came in high, he just quit.
The way Jones catches the ball is the most defeated. Like, oh God, like,
Oh no! Oh no! It's over.
Shout out to the very nice Colorado Rockies uniforms. I do like those quite a bit.
Oh, the green and whites. Yeah,
Yeah.
they look sick.
But that's easily a top 3, top 5, like City Connect.
Oh yeah. Especially because a lot of these City Connects are freaking awful. Like,
Or they just make the black version. Like,
yeah,
so many
or
teams just go like
default.
black jersey, red letters, boom.
Guys, we need to sell. All right. So what do we got to do? I think a black jersey with red lettering, but we're a blue team. Who cares? All right. So
Yeah, so hot right now.
so hot. This is a tough one. All right, we're gonna quorum up on this. I think Kike. It's more, again, mine is very like context dependent.
Yeah.
You know, but then again, the context is we're up 6-0. Like who cares? Like Jesse Winker scores, like nobody's freaking out. That Walker play was.
I like the Walker play because it's so unique. Like I haven't seen that play before.
He looked like an NFL player covering a punt. You know what I mean? And knowing that like if he steps out of bounds, like he gets the
Yeah.
So man, that's really cool. And then the Ryan McMahon is just like, that's a definition of a heads up play.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you just forced to run in. Man, that's a tough one. I guess I'm the tiebreaker here.
Yeah.
I'll take Walker. Just because I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
And then what makes it a heads up play is that he checks to make sure that his pitcher's not going to cover. Like he knows and he sees it. Just like Collin mentioned, he's looking up. That's Walker. Great play. This was a great play.
I like
Both
how
were
it
great
tied
plays.
in with the Rizzo one. that was not planned, but
How
great.
to do it? How not to do it?
Yeah. Here's how you cover first when your pitcher's not going to do jack. This. All right. Our next category is I named this one, the Shohei Ohtani Award the Shohei Ohtani Holy SHIT Award for most surprising breakout. All right. And our nominees are Collin. Are you serious? Bobby Witt Jr. That's a surprising breakout for you. This guy's been hyped for like 3 years. Like what?
I mean, still he like doubled his WAR overnight, became like a I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that Judge went nuclear,
He
you're
probably
talking
would
about
have won
someone who had
MVP.
a
Yeah,
very
between him and
strong
Gunnar.
MVP case.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, so
He was great.
But he already had a 30-30 season as well.
Like, Collin, we knew he was good.
I think the jump to MVP level, like, that's still
Okay.
quite a jump.
That is a
there's
big jump.
huge difference from like all-star to MVP. And,
That is a
Yeah.
big jump. I'll give Murph credit.
Yeah.
It's often the hardest jump to make, right?
True.
And
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, look at Julio Rodriguez. Like, he had a very hot start.
Hey,
and he hasn't made
you,
the MVP.
You taking
jump.
food off my family's table? You better stop that. You better stop that. All right.
So,
Oh my god, my Julio Rodriguez like 1-of-1 card is just like trembling right now. It's like, make them stop. I'm like, I'm trying, bro. Like, all right. So Bobby Wood Jr. was all right. He talked himself into it a little bit. And then our nomination, Dan, was Jarren Duran of the Boston Red Sox, Cal State Long Beach product. Okay, he's a local boy. And balled the F out for the Red Sox.
Blew up, yeah.
Just out of freaking nowhere. And one major thing is that when he was in college, he had more of like a contact swing. Like he would get down and kind of do this, like, just get the bat to the ball type of swing. 2020, he changed his swing to stand taller in the box, and the power just went plus. Like all of a sudden, it was just like, oh, he's a 20 home run guy. Like, what? On top of having the crazy speed. Center field, like 11 OAA in center field, which is like, that's some range, dog. Like he's got wheels on him. Great arm. He's base running is on point. He just adds runs. This guy is
a classic center fielder, like prototypical, like, yeah.
Like
Sick
the
ball player.
Red Sox answer to Mickey Mantle last year, apparently. Like he's just a baller.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Jarren Duran, 8.7 RWAR, I believe, which is like insane. Like insane for a guy who was like like 7th round. Yeah, like they were just like, whatever, this guy. So Jarren Duran, props to you. And then Dan also had a mention for Eric Fede.
Yeah.
Eric Fede, who we thought was going to be like the prize of the trade deadline. But
yeah, he had 5.6 baseball reference WAR this year.
That's insane.
Bringing his career total to 5.9.
Very nice. That is a holy SHIT jump. Guess where he played last year in 2023?
Korea.
KBO, baby. KBO legends. Eric Fede and Merrill Kelly, KBO legends. Hey, where great pitching is born, baby. Where great pitching is refound. Like woo. Shout out Eric Fede. That's dope. Yeah, definitely. I think he was supposed to be the prize of the trade deadline because everybody was like, White Sox have to move him.
He pitched well for the Cardinals too. He just, the rest of the team didn't
do anything.
Play well enough to make playoffs.
Pitching wasn't their problem, dude. Their problem was getting runs, like, at all. We're gonna go with Jarren. I'm pretty sure Murph was against it just because his name is Jarren. All right, GM Move of the Year, our nominees, and no videos anymore here. Yankees grabbing Jazz is Collin, which is
in defense. I also really was kind of with specifically the Edmund Kopech move. That's why I had written first. I just kind of wanted to pick a second one because you were the first one to put that one in.
Yeah,
and so I think the second best move was Jazz. Jazz had played great for the Yankees. Was a big part of them making the World Series as well. So yeah, I mean, I feel like for stuff like this, you have to think about someone who made an impact, like either getting into or in the playoffs, because that's the whole point of sacrificing the future for these deadline guys. And Jazz definitely paid off in that respect.
Well, if Jazz could have picked that ball out at third base in the top of the 5th inning, he would have been really.
Yeah, well,
Dan and I, there's actually, if you look back and everyone hates us like archives, there's a conversation between me and Dan laughing about the Yankees getting JCJ. Like, what's he gonna do for you guys? He's not even that good. And then, of course, I get pie on my face because I was joking, like, oh, he's not gonna do jack. And then, no, he ends up, launching jacks. Like, he's just like balling after he got to the Yankees. So, yeah, I like that. Honorable mention for JCJ.
Yeah,
it was just an especially funny ad for us. And I specifically, because we've been talking shit about the MLB The Show cover since the second it came out.
It was what? I just remember, like, I texted Dan when I saw it. I was like, "Are you serious? What has he done?" Like,
No, we've had a specific bone to pick with JC.
I mean, no one's more incentivized to dunk on him than Murph. Like,
I was gonna say, I was like,
true,
I never got that either because I mean, from the moment the trade happened, Gallen has always been better than him. We've
that's very fair.
won the trade pretty much the entire way through, and yeah, but he gets the show cover. I was shocked.
yeah, Zach Gallen doesn't have an MLB The Show cover, Collin.
No.
I can't remember the last time a pitcher had the MLB The Show cover. It's like such a woo. Yeah, that would take something. So the winner, obviously,
Shohei.
That's true. He was both. He was both.
I did include one move, although I realized late that it technically happened a year and a day ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm pretty sure you're silenced now for doing that. So we're just gonna mute Dan for the rest of the show because he doesn't know how to follow the rules. No, it was a good one though. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah. So the trade for the Braves traded Vaughn Grissom for Chris Sale, who had pitched well, but in very limited innings for several years, and signed him to a 2-year extension. And then he immediately turned into the NL Cy Young winner and
the Triple Crown winner, Cy Young winner, everything winner. Yeah.
That was a hell of a move, especially signing him to the extension after, like, 2-year extension with a club option for the 3rd year. So yeah, locked him up. Team friendly deal. That's what the Braves do.
They really took all that bad juju from Boston and was just like, you know what? We're gonna kind of add some sugar and spice and look, Cy Young. Oh my gosh, I feel bad for Boston, but not really. Dodgers trade deadline moves are the winner. Andrew Friedman, again, just proves that he's light years ahead of everybody else.
Masterful.
Brings in Kopech, Edman. These are names that you saw on the postseason rosters, and we needed every bit from these guys. He signed the NLCS MVP in trade season. Like, Tommy Edman was coming off of wrist injury. Like, okay, yeah, Murph's like giving me the throat slash.
Well, no, it's more the Joe Lacob light years ahead thing, or whatever. That just like kind of just okay.
I mean, you gotta love it.
They were great moves.
They were great moves, but I mean,
and,
I do think there is something,
especially because they were so important in the playoffs. Like they were,
I mean, Edman was NLCS MVP. Like, it's tough to think of something more impactful than that. I'm not disagreeing that they weren't great moves. There's more the light years ahead when you're also spending light years ahead.
Hey, we can file that with the playing taps for the Astros.
Yeah. Okay. On the arrogance card.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, both of you douchebags, but especially you, Murph. All right. I don't know if you remember MLB. It's always, here's what I mean by light years ahead. All right. It's always there's a prize in the trade market. At the trade deadline, there's always a prize. And sometimes the Dodgers are the winners. Like, they actually come out with a prize. But sometimes they kind of underwhelm. You know, like the fans are like, oh, what about Eric Fede? Or, you know, I heard Tariq Skubal might be on the market. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, why would anyone trade Tariq Skubal? What? Like, that's a core. Like, that's a one-man core. So it's always like there's a prize. And then the Dodgers underwhelm. And then Andrew Friedman just proves that he was right when these players start performing. You know, like, okay, Manny Machado, Yu Darvish, these are not like, oh, surprising. It's like, no, they're ballers. It's the Tommy Edman coming off a wrist injury and the promptly balling out. It's the Michael Kopech. He had an immaculate inning before he came to us. Like, he was still throwing gas, but it was like putting him in the right context, putting him in that, you know, making some adjustments to his delivery and mechanics, and then all of a sudden he's like unhittable.
I almost mentioned that immaculate inning earlier when we were talking about the White Sox, because it's the least excited I've seen someone after an immaculate inning for Kopech.
It's like nobody cares, dude. Like
great.
Wrong team, bro. Get out of here. It's us and the A's, man. We're the two teams that don't care. You know who was a good Holy S Award candidate actually for the A's was Brent Rooker. Brent Rooker was
Brent Rooker balled out. Yeah,
that guy's scary. But yeah, no,
Lawrence
I think
Butler
that was
in the second half too. Larry
B,
crazy.
yeah.
Plays. Yeah.
So these are like great candidates, but yeah, no, back to the Dodgers. My point being, sometimes he underwhelms, like, and then we get players like Jack Flaherty, which like that's kind of hard to underwhelm. You got a guy who's what he is, he's a baller. Yeah. So no, I thought Dodger fans were like, oh, kind of happy, I guess. Like they're like, oh, I don't know how this Kopech thing's gonna work out, or Edman, isn't he injured? And then it's just like, boom, 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 boom. He looks like the smartest guy in the room again, and it's really, he's light years ahead of our fans, really, is what he is. He's light years ahead of our armchair GMs at home.
That's very fair. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, very precise moves. Very good moves.
Very good moves. All right. Speaking of great moves, Managerial Masterstroke Award. Murph, your candidate was Aaron Boone going to Dreamweaver as closer in the playoffs. I did my best, guys. Equaled his career number of saves in the postseason. So
yeah, I just think it was really ballsy to, put a guy in there who had 4 career saves, and then Boone was probably going for his managerial life in this one. If they went out in the first or second round, sorry, in the ALDS, like that's probably it for him. He put it all on, Luke Weaver there, and he delivered for them. And he was probably their most stable pen arm. There's one other guy I'm spacing the name on, but like it was really just those two that pretty much kind of anchored it down from the back end.
Yeah, it was very solid, for sure.
I like that. He was better than solid. In postseason, he was like unstoppable. It was just like, all right, game's over.
Especially Luke Weaver, who has struggled in the past, for sure.
You know who owes me a lot of fantasy points? Luke Weaver. And I mean, as in like his fantasy points were negative. Like he owes me to get to 0. Like,
no one is more frustrated with Luke Weaver's production until this point. He was the crown jewel of the Goldschmidt trade. But no, I people give Boone a lot of stick, and some of it deserves, some of it not. But I think this was I think the safe decision for him would have been just stick with the trusted, normal like bullpen relief arms, the guys who had closed it. And if they sucked, people probably would have blamed the people that were brought in the year to close for blowing the games. Weaver is someone where if Weaver sucked, that decision is going strictly on the manager for putting a guy that untested and who has such a rough track record in the MLB in such an important role. So that's why I kind of picked this one out.
I like that. That's a good pick. Dan, you picked the Dave Roberts bullpen game 4 NLDS. All right.
Yeah, we're facing elimination. Dave Roberts went different than he'd done in the past, like pitching guys on short rest and sort of like trying to push for that game. He sort of trusted the process and managed masterfully that whole game with the bullpen game. And it sparked that 33 inning consecutive scoreless inning streak to end the series and gave the momentum to the Dodgers that eventually led to the World Series. But without that game, going with the bullpen game, none of that would have happened. So yeah, that was huge.
How much of it, and I'm assuming not that much, but how much of this do you chalk up to the Padres just choking down the stretch? Because they kind of did, like once they got home,
they did. Yeah. But I think part of that was that game. Like as that game went on, and they're putting up zeros and we're winning, like they got in their heads. Like, but going into that game, they were up. They were 1 win away from beating us again.
Yeah.
It was a big turning point.
I think anytime it's a bullpen game, it's a low column A, low column B. For one thing, you're talking about having 6-7 guys come out there and none of them laid eggs.
True.
But at the same time, from the batter's perspective, you're looking at 6 to 7 straight guys. You're not getting a read. What are you picking up today? So yeah, I think this is a great one as well, just because all the levers have to be pulled exactly right in a bullpen game, and obviously he did.
Which we saw in other Dodger bullpen games in the same playoffs, which didn't go.
Yeah, they didn't go to plan. We had Brent Honeywell Jr., the innings eater, come out and just be like, all right, well, I guess this is over. Okay, my nominee was AJ Hinch, and this was more of like he doesn't get enough credit for doing what he did, which is and because of the whole Astros sign stealing BS and all that. And I don't have a problem with AJ Hinch. Like I don't think it has anything to do with what he does with the Tigers, who were sellers at the deadline and basically shipped off all their vets, kept the ones they couldn't move, like Kenta Maeda and Javi Baez. And then when it came to postseason roster construction time, left those guys off the rosters. And I thought that takes balls, and believing in your young guys takes balls, and just saying like, hey, we're just going to run them out there. They were one game away from the ALCS. And I really think that is an incredible achievement for a team that was basically in the middle of a fire sale, had no business being in the playoffs whatsoever. And they were just like a little bit of offense away from getting to the ALCS. So props to AJ Hinch. The pitching chaos, he called it, in the wild card and divisional rounds, I thought was a masterstroke. He also had to manage that. He also had to kind of like basically know his matchups, know what he's comfortable with, and know the guys that he wants to roll with out there, because he knows these young guys better than anybody else. Basically. So I thought that was a really nice move, and that's the kind of stuff that like jumpstarts a run. Opens a window basically for a team. Is like these players get confidence in the playoffs. Like, been here, done that. We're gonna run it back next year. Like that's the kind of stuff that like could really jumpstart. So major props to AJ Hinch.
Yeah, on the not holding anything against AJ Hinch note, he's one of the very few people involved with the whole Astros thing who actually paid their proverbial debt to baseball with the suspension. He came back and they had the crazy run this year, and good for him.
Props to Hinch.
I thought you were gonna bring up. He supposedly was one of the only ones against it. He broke the TV, two of the TVs during the middle of it. That's what got leaked. It was actually Alex Cora and Carlos Beltran. Were the ones who kept putting it back up. So
okay,
Speaking of dudes,
I forgot
didn't pay their dues. Carlos Beltran.
No.
All right, going from manager of master strokes, GM moves of the year to worst owner. Oh, we got to pick one.
Yeah, we got to pick one.
Who are we picking? I like both of y'all's. Obviously, I'm partial, but actually, I'm not, because I think it should be Aaron Boone.
Yeah,
and it's because
that's a great move
in that market.
Sure. It's a good pick
to make big moves like that. Like our market's entitled and crappy too. But I forgot who talked about Taj Gibson. Taj Gibson talked about playing for the Knicks on Jeff Teague's podcast, and they asked him like, "What was it like playing for New York?" And he's like, "I wake up angry every day, and every time I get in the elevator, they're asking me like, dude, what happened? Like, we suck. Like, blah blah blah." The Knicks, like, and the Yankees are just part of New York fabric and culture.
Mm-hmm.
If this blows up in Booty's face, like, he can't fly over New York ever again. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, guess you're living in LA now, because you're never gonna live this down. I just think the stakes are higher when you're the New York skipper, and it's gonna suck for you. I'm not talking about just losing your job. I'm talking about you're not flying into JFK or LaGuardia. Like, you're flying into Jersey and have an armor car. Okay, like it's just, you're never gonna stop hearing about it. And New York fan bases just dog you for the rest of your life for making decisions like that. And I'm so glad there wasn't a crucial, he made this decision and it blew up in the Yankees' face. It was a culmination of all the players kind of screwing up in the World Series, and it wasn't just on Booney, because I don't think it was on Booney. Like, it was on the players. These players get paid like 10 times Booney's salary to field fly balls. Do that. Cover first base. Do that. Bro, $725 million couldn't cover, catch a fly ball and cover first, bro. Like, that's not Booney's fault. Okay, that's insane. So yeah, props to Booney. I think we're gonna go with Booney here. Okay. Worst owner was unanimous. I just wanted to make sure it was a unanimous vote. I think we're all on the same page here. It's John Fisher.
I don't even know who else would even be in the running.
I kind of thought about Reinsdorf for a little bit, but that's really TLR. I blame Tony La Russa for that.
Who hired Tony La Russa again?
I know. That's why I was like, is it Reinsdorf? I don't know, dude. Oh man, what could have been, dude? What could have been?
Yeah.
That's the fastest I've ever seen a window shut and turn into a basement.
Just
It looked like they were heading up to the
snowed-in
penthouse.
basement.
Yeah,
Slam shut
they're
so hard. The
journey to the
glass
center
breaks.
of the earth.
It was a basement with like somebody put their car in there and left the ignition on. Like it's everybody's leaving. This is really bad. Yeah, no, it's John Fisher. Screw him. And then I think I just biggest team chemistry W. Collin said, whatever Brian Sweeney did to that Royals rotation. We talked about it. It's Zach Bove, dude. It's
I mean,
Bover, not
he's
a
the
hater.
pitching coach. He deserves the pitching coach deserves.
All right, yeah. Sweeney and Bove did magic with that. They like Michael Walker was good this year. Like I'm sorry.
Dude, he had the Midas touch this year. Sometimes you just see that with like a coach or like a batting coach and stuff. But good God,
Seth Lugo and
I
Michael
will speak
Walker.
up for Michael Walker because Walker actually was decent last year as well.
Yeah, with the
Like,
Padres. Yeah, he was okay.
Yeah.
But like, what the hell? Like,
But yeah, Seth Lugo. I thought about Seth Lugo for the breakout player because he balled out so
He
hard
balled
this
out.
year too. Yeah,
he balled out, and he's got good young guys between like Singer and Reagan's. Like, man, that's a staff. Them and Bobby
Walker
Witt's
actually
the team.
pitched well for the last couple of years. Like he had 3.5 WAR this year and 3.3 WAR 2 years ago with the Red Sox. Like he was solid.
I just remember Cardinals Walker, and I'm just like, he's always on the waiver wire, just laughing at me. Like, this guy's gonna get blown up at the start of. I swear to God.
I remember Cardinals Walker his first year when he kicked our butts in the playoffs.
He was great. He was great, and then he was not great.
And then he was not great. Yeah.
All right, Dan, you have Dodgers signed Teoscar Hernandez to a 3-year, $66 million contract. What
For the vibes, like
for the vibes?
we do not need him, but we gave him the contract to keep the team happy.
We moved so much SHIT around to make this happen.
Yeah,
yeah, I'll give it to him. Yeah. And then I have Padres promoted Mike Schilt to skipper. It's not often that these promotions end up working out. But Mike Schilt, just like that team was a mess, chemistry and clubhouse wise, for the past like 3 years. I want to say, like before Mike Schilt took over, it was like, remember that like tirade that Manny Machado had like in the dugout where he was like apparently encouraging Tatis, but it was like, it's the Padres, they're melting down, like who cares? And then it kind of became like they're melting down. Like it was really like this clubhouse was very toxic. Like it was a mess. They had the same team plus Juan Soto last year. Didn't make the playoffs, bro. Like that should pretty much tell you how it went. And for Mike Schilt to come in and basically with less do more, and get this team believing in each other, and honestly, like fix the vibes. Like fix the vibes into like, oh, that team is scary. Like, dude, he deserves every penny of that contract extension he just got. Like, shout out to Mike Schilt.
fix the vibes until the bullpen game in Game 4 of the NLDS.
Yeah, well, they did that to themselves, dog. You can't help that your highest paid player is a numpty. Okay, like throwing balls in the bullpen. That was the player hater moment, right? Did we do player hater?
Yeah.
Or was that the word of the podcast?
Did we skip player hater? Oh, we skipped player hater because it was.
Yeah.
Oh, that last one. The one that Dan nominated was just.
Yeah.
Not safe for podcasting.
Not safe. That was just like. That's not even player hating. That's just hating. That's just hating. All right, like who hasn't done that before? Am I the only one?
You might be. Well, you and Reese McGuire.
I'm totally joking. Yeah, I've never done that before. But like, because I know that you could get arrested. Like,
for anyone wondering what we're talking about, just look up the Cal Quintrell and Reese McGuire.
Cal Quantrill and Reese McGuire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was
tried to answer the assignment.
That was just hating. That's so mean. Like, bro, why? Why? And you know he's never gonna say anything ever again. Like,
he went with the nuclear option for sure.
It was just like end. Yeah, Windows shutdown noise. Dun 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 dun. All right.
I mean, we could show the other two clips. Just DQ mine.
Mine are
I'm cool
dumb
with that
too. Mine was dumb. It was like Shohei hit the ball off Vidal Brujan. Like,
I mean, That's a good. Yeah, I mean,
It's
fair.
pretty
Like,
player hater. Like, why you got to do that, dog? Like, why? Because you want the stat line? Like,
absolutely destroyed that ball.
yeah, it's like 68 miles an hour upper zone, and he just decides to hit it where there are no spectators. Like, literally, that's how far he hit it. Like, everybody had moved down at that point or left. Like, that's how hard he hit that thing. Yeah. And then Manny Machado throwing a baseball towards the LA dugout.
I mean, that's a great pick, really.
That's a great pick. That's a great pick. I'll give Manny his respect.
It's
a good
specifically because of his comments afterwards, where he said he threw it hard enough that the Dodgers would notice, but soft enough that they'd look soft complaining about it.
But you know
which
what?
is exactly what ended up happening.
Isn't that what Jeff Passan was like? If you guys want to stop being treated like the little brother, stop acting like the little brother. You know, like that was what Passan said like after that. And I was like, yeah.
He's
kind of
always
like
been a big market stooge.
Why? Because he announces all the moves? Collin, is that why? Like,
no, it's just like any take, he's going to back whatever the Dodgers, Red Sox, and or Yankees did, like against any other smaller team. You see it in the AL East, the way he talks about teams like the Orioles, and you see it in the NL West, the way he talks about the Padres versus the Dodgers. Like, I think that was kind of a silly way to like interpret the whole, like kind of a little jab that Machado did.
As Omar from The Wire would say, fish got to swim, yo.
Related to that, the other candidate that I was thinking about for player hater, which probably would have been better to put in terms of podcast safety, was all the Padres players refusing to talk to Ken Rosenthal during the NLDS because of the article that he put in.
That's just the biggest crybaby moment of the year. It's like, we're not talking to you, Ken. You wrote mean things about us. We don't want to do interviews with you. That's just crybaby shit, man. Like,
I'm with you on that. I'm not fully in the tank for everything the Padres have done. I thought that was kind of a very soft move.
Yeah,
the Padres pull.
But like the thing is, like, I don't want to talk about the series too much, but it was the best series in baseball last year, like easily. Dude. They psyched themselves out. That's what I was talking about with Dan, like for the bullpen game. Like they psyched themselves out so much, dude.
Absolutely.
They put all that pressure on themselves because like they're doing all the like little brother stuff, or they're like kind of needling and trolling and all that fun stuff. And then like when it's time to deliver, they're just like, oh crap, we have to win a baseball game, and we forgot how to do that. You know, like they just forgot how to hit, dude. Like for legit, like just got eliminated because they couldn't hit. Which is insane. Like I give the Dodgers pitchers all the credit in the world. That lineup should get some hits. All right, like Fernando Tatis looked unstoppable, bro. Like he was just hitting home runs when he felt like it. I was like, dude, this is bad. Like Tatis is playing for real. Like he's playing for real.
Yeah, they were locked in.
They were locked in, and all of a sudden, and they weren't because they did all the hijinks. You know, the Profar stuff, the Machado throwing the ball into the dugout. All this crap kind of adds up, and then you put all this pressure on yourself to come through, and like they choked. Like they choked when we were supposed to choke. You know, all those like all this for a first round exit memes, like that's y'all now. Like, oh my gosh.
Or the more likely scenario, he just ran out of ringworm cream.
Whoa.
The ringworms got to him in the end.
Yeah, they finally got him. They finally got him. You know what else? The brainworms got to all the other Padres players. Like I don't. It was bad. Yeah, Tatis was balling, and I didn't see any reason for him to stop. And one of them was really close. I think he hit it. I think he hit one pretty close, and that ended up getting caught. But yeah, they just psyched themselves out, bro. And hopefully do it again next year. You know, for the entire season, and no more Tanner Scott. So hopefully. Oh my God, guy can ball. All right, that was a long segment. Yeah, I know. I think we are.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to do Hall of Fame update, and then we're going to move on to some foosball. All right. We'll see you on the flip side. All right. Yeah, that was really long.
Long, but that was good. It was fun.
I liked it. It was good.
Yeah. It's tough not to rehash like the depths of some of the stuff too. Like specifically that Padres series, like that and the World Series, I think we're obviously always going to come up.
It was like the two most entertaining series we had, you know, outside of WBC play. So like, yeah.
A little salty. We cut the twin summer sausage. Just saying, because
I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't want to talk about the Mariners trident after we just like then the jokes that we would be inviting that would hurt my family's bottom line.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know who didn't hold the trident last year a lot? Julio Rodriguez. No. That thing weighs 30 pounds. How are you moving it like that? Okay. All right. 3, 2. Hold on. Take a break real quick. All right. 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Thanks for coming back with us. We're moving on to a quick Hall of Fame update. Murph, what do we got here? We got some interesting stuff over the line. So where were we at?
Yeah, we actually saw a huge influx of ballots over the last week or so. I guess everyone, once Christmas was over, decided to just do a ballot dump. We're at 23% in. Ichiro, still unanimous. We're starting to see a gap between him and CC, but CC and Wagner still tracking very well to get in. One big thing that's changed, though, is there's a fourth guy over the cut limit, over the induction limit right now. Carlos Beltran is sitting there at 76.5%. He leads all players in gains this year. He's gained 15 votes from voters who didn't vote for him before. Seems like the 2017 scandal is well in his rearview mirror. I guess just to kind of get you guys' opinion on both of these things, you know who the biggest loser this cycle so far been as far as drop votes has been Chase Utley, who has over twice as much as everyone else. At first, I haven't really been commenting on this because I thought most people were strategic voting. Utley is a very good strategic vote to leave because he got a lot of votes. He's not falling off the ballot, but he's also far enough. He's not getting in. But that only explains 2 of them. So the rest of them were non-10-person ballots. So they could have feasibly voted for him if they didn't. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Did Utley punt a kid or something? And we missed that in the offseason. That was not on my police bladder report I did to start the whole series. But yeah, your guys' thoughts on Beltran and Utley there.
That is surprising that they're just dropping Utley. If after having already voted for him, I understand I understand that not everyone will vote for him, but having voted for him and then going back on that is weird. But
maybe they just saw the highlight of him breaking Ruben Tejada's leg for the first time.
They just saw the video.
Oh God. This man is criminally insane. We can't let him in.
Well, yeah, because I honestly feel that, and obviously the voters don't owe us anything, but when they remove someone that they voted for before, I think they do kind of owe everyone an explanation of why they dropped him. One person, for instance, mentioned Andrew Jones. One of the reasons that they dropped him was because they didn't know about the DV incident. And then they no longer felt comfortable voting for him after it. So stuff like that, where maybe it recontextualizes stuff. People did that with Schilling with his comments as well. Because it just doesn't really make any sense. You thought someone was a Hall of Famer last year and he's still retired. What changed?
Yeah.
There's not really a lot of common sense there. And speaking of Andrew Jones, he's still tracking though positively. He's at 73% right now. He's probably, we'll see how the domestic violence thing makes it interesting because anyone else on his track record's easily a Hall of Famer when you're at the percentage that he had last year, the gains he's making this year. But when you have
10 Gold Gloves at center field is
pretty primo
good
position.
Yeah. But there's
I think
for sure.
When it comes to the off the field stuff and PEDs, you just never know where the hard line is of you just can't make up any votes once you get a certain point. So yeah, those 5 are definitely in staying on the ballot. All the PED guys are coming back next year. They're all officially safe. Pettit, A-Rod, Manny. Pettit has actually been the second largest gainer this year in ballots behind Beltran, which I'm kind of surprised by. Again, he has PED
his numbers
ties.
Are good.
He's not some, I mean, his career WAR numbers are pretty much bang on with Burley, who's sitting at 12%, which is interesting to me. But he does have the 5 titles.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe Utley's going around kicking dogs and specifically targeting the voters' family pets and maybe
only the voters who voted for him though.
Yeah,
only the voters who voted for him. The rest of them never voted for him. Doesn't matter.
Specifically because he's a pretty large animal rights advocate that we're using kicking puppies.
It's a good cover for his secret.
Dan, can you try not to get us sued?
I love Chase Utley. I believe him. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
He didn't break Ruben Tejada's leg. Ruben Tejada broke Ruben Tejada's leg. All right.
With the talk on Utley, though, Utley is safe, and he was joined today by another safe member. Felix Hernandez will stay on the ballot. He's finally hit enough votes. He's actually had a surge recently, so he will still around. So those 10 will still come back or get inducted. The other interesting thing that kind of came out of this is Russell Martin got a surge of support, and he's over the safe line right now. Jay Jaff, Fangraphs, has been, tooting his horn for a bit, him and Brian McCann. McCann's just under, along with Ian Kinsler. These guys are very much on the bubble of whether they can stick around or not. But I think even reading his article, it seems like framing is his big argument for it. I feel like you have something you want to say from the look on your face. Russell Martin, Brian McCann, Hall of Famers.
They're on the bubble of whether or not they should even be subjects on this podcast. Sorry, Dan. I know Russell Martin was your favorite player for like a season, but like
probably like 2. But
wow, 2 whole seasons.
Yeah,
he gets the Hall of Fame for cheating the umps, huh? Is that the kind of man you want in the Hall of Fame, huh? He cheated
I don't think
the umps.
We're risking him getting in the Hall of Fame quite yet, but
thank God.
I like him sticking around for another year. Why not? We get to talk about Russell Martin for a whole other year of the podcast.
Oh, God. Yeah.
And I've talked about it every single time through. We are looking at a very likely drop off here. Very rare, but Torrey Hunter is still really struggling. He has 1 vote. He's lost votes from people that previously voted for him at this point. He's well below the average at the moment. He did do very well on the private ballots last time. I guess people were embarrassed that they were voting for him and didn't want to have to defend the vote, but things are not looking good for him just sticking on the ballot, period. It's not rare that someone who's been on 4 ballots falls off on their 5th, but Torrey Hunter is making that look very, very likely this time around. That's kind of that's it for the main updates here.
I got a little something about Torrey Hunter real quick.
Yeah.
I always have a soft spot for that guy. And it's because he lived in CDM that's Corona Del Mar. It's like a suburb of Orange County, in Orange County. And he was held at gunpoint in his own home by cops who thought he was like robbing his own house. Yeah. Like whatever Dan face just made. That was my face when I read it. I was like, awful. Yikes. So like Torrey Hunter, like, dude, you're braving it out in OC as a black dude in CDM. Like, I don't know. It's just like, it's crazy. That was one of my like, damn, like racism still happens. It's like it's like real, and it's really close to where I grew up. It's like, damn, that sucks, dude. So Torrey Hunter like was a baller. I'm like, bro, how do you live in Orange County and not know who Torrey Hunter is, bro? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, what do you think he put pictures of his family in his own house? Like this guy came in and burglarized the house and put pictures of his family everywhere. Like, what is wrong with you? The hell, this guy was a baller. Like, oh my Lord. Yeah, that bothers me. But Torrey Hunter will always get, and apparently one of the nice guys in baseball. Apparently he didn't make a big deal about it. Which is also crazy. Like, I would be like, yo, I'll see you in court. Okay. Like, forget a baseball field. But yeah, that's kind of my Torrey Hunter thing.
I'm glad you clarified that, because I mean, CDM, both by airport code and generally, is Mexico City, Ciudad de Mexico.
That's right. Yeah. Sorry. No, we're talking about one of the most affluent suburbs on the planet. My bad.
Yeah. I was about to think something totally worse of another country there.
Yeah.
Clarification.
Yeah. Corona Del Mar, which is a suburb near Newport Beach, which is like legitimately one of the most it's one of the nicest neighborhoods in Orange County. So a very, very expensive place to live. It sucks that that's how he gets treated when he literally like played for the Angels for so long. Like, that's so dumb. So yeah, shout out Torrey Hunter. And I hope you get some votes, man. That sucks. Yeah, you're a baller, dude. Like, who's gonna take that away from you? So yeah, shout out Torrey Hunter.
Yeah, shout out to outfield catches. I almost name dropped him earlier with the Michael Harris catch. It's a very Torrey Hunter coded play.
Well, is that it for Hall of Fame updates?
Sorry. Yeah, that was all I had.
Okay, sweet.
Sorry to make that clear.
No, you're all good. Let's cut real quick. What the fuck was that, dude?
I thought I said it was that was it. Like last thing.
That was my one last thing about Torrey Hunter, by the way. He was held at gunpoint. Let's make a really depressing ending to this whole segment.
I didn't really have another thing to follow up with. I was trying to look for something else interesting, but the Torrey Hunter thing was really my last thing.
Oh man. Is he really at one vote? One vote or zero votes?
One vote.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah, that's
Hey, one more than Adam Jones.
Oh my gosh.
One more than Fernando Rodney.
No one's voted for Fernando
I'm
Rodney
so glad
yet.
we're cut right now so I can laugh. Oh god. Okay, we're rounding home, right? It's CFP, NFL. Let's keep NFL to a minimum, and then matchup gratitude rants. So,
yep.
CFP, NFL, matchup gratitude rants. Okay. 3, 2, 1. All right. If you heard a jarring pause, that was because we took a break just to gather ourselves after that extremely depressing and somber Torrey Hunter incident that we talked about. We're gonna move on to something that's happening tomorrow as of recording time, but probably today if you're listening.
First game's tonight, actually.
First game's tonight. The game that matters is tomorrow. Dan, you know what's gonna be really funny? Is if USC has more bowl game wins than Oregon this year. Because if that happens, if Oregon's history in the national championship is any indication, we're really just waiting on an inevitability. But Murph, I'm guessing you think otherwise. They got a big matchup against Ohio State, absolute juggernaut. Ryan Day, who has caught his fair share of strays on this podcast, for sure. What do you got, Murph?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the crown jewel first round game. I think this is one where the matchup is so loaded that they're talking about doing a reseeding to make sure that like two teams of this caliber don't face off this early again. That's how you kind of know that this is a massive, massive game. It's the Rose Bowl. It's a traditional matchup with a Pac-12 versus a Big Ten school, even though they're both in the Big Ten now. So yeah, this is a pretty solid matchup all the way through and through. Ohio State, the big question for them heading into the playoff was their offensive line got manhandled by Michigan. They were facing Tennessee, who was probably the second best defensive line in the SEC. And Ohio State just absolutely manhandled them. That game was a laugher from the start. He was never in it, despite having a sizable crowd at the Horseshoe in Columbus. So, I mean, Ohio State seems to be rolling. I think between that, Oregon also, their red zone D and D in general hasn't been great. I think the big thing for them is, can their defensive line hold up versus Ohio State's offensive line, force Will Howard to throw the ball, even though the receivers are really good. Will Howard's been up and down. But the reason I still kind of like Oregon in this is it just comes down to two main things in college football, and that is coaching. Dan Lanning over Ryan Day, 100%. I fully buy Dan Lanning. And the other thing, and I think the victim of this even playoff this year, and people have been talking about across college football, is quarterback play has been really down this year across college. Like last year, we had Jay Daniels, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, Caleb Williams. There's just a lot of really top end quarterbacks this year in the playoff. Like, who do you trust quarterback wise? And I think for a lot of people, there was like 3 guys, and then Carson Beck got hurt, and it's probably dropped to 2. 3 maybe, depending on what your thoughts are on the Notre Dame guy, Leonard. But one of those 2 guys Oregon does have in Dylan Gabriel. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, and him versus Will Howard. I think if you're Oregon, you gotta having Dylan Gabriel instead. It's a big game. Oregon's playing a lot of big games. This is very battle tested team, just like Ohio State. This is going to be a juggernaut fight. I think expect it to be really close, but in a close, tight game, I'm going to pick the better coach, the better, quarterback. And I do think Oregon's going to pull it out. You're muted. You're muted.
He said better coach, better quarterback. And then he went, Oregon. I was like, what? Okay, I'll stop. Oregon is 2.5 point dogs going into this matchup, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, this is, as Collin said, a juggernaut matchup. Some less not as juggernaut matchups also on slate. We've got Texas versus Arizona State.
Arizona State, they had a run like the Tigers had in baseball. Like they had 2.7% chance to make the playoffs and after week 11, and then they just won all the games that they had to and made it in, and they have their running back. I could see it being closer than the line expects it to be.
Well, the line has it at 2 touchdowns, so
I know. Yeah, it was like yes, yeah.
The thing is, I think ASU does match up decently defensively versus Texas. They have a really good run defense, which Clemson did not, which is what Texas abused last week. ASU's pass defense isn't great at all, but they do force turnovers. I think they're like 5th in the country in turnovers. They're first or second in the Big 12. So if they can hold it on the ground and force a couple turnovers, this could be an interesting game. But I mean, really, Scadabo's got to get it going versus that Texas line, and that could be tough because Clemson couldn't run the ball at all. They got back into it by passing. They just had to throw. If Arizona State's throwing the ball, this is going to get ugly really quickly.
Yeah, it has to be Scadabo going crazy on them for it to be close for sure.
All right. Penn State, Boise State. This is also a 2 touchdown line. Penn State favored, unfortunately, against the 3-seeded Boise State. Ashton Jeanty, big like statement game, maybe? I don't know.
We can kind of just repeat what we said the last one.
Yeah. Jeanty's not running. We got a problem.
The one thing I will say is Boise, they're not going to throw pick sixes like SMU did and just sell that game. I do think that game could have been a lot closer. I don't think Penn State fully outclassed them the same way that Ohio State kind of just outclassed Tennessee. The quarterback just kind of sold the game with awful turnovers. Boise State's not going to do that. Jeannie, Penn State run defense, it's ranked pretty highly, but I mean, Oregon ran for like 190 on them in the Big Ten championship game. Ohio State averaged over 8 yards per carry. If they can keep it close and allow them to like keep giving the ball to Jeannie, that'll be good. But I mean, the biggest mismatch in this game, I mentioned there were 2 quarterbacks to trust in this playoff. Drew Aller is the other one, and him versus that Boise State pass defense is going to be a complete laugher. So
it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
Dan, what are your thoughts there?
I mean, yes, but they do have the best player in the playoff, quite possibly with Jeanty, and I mean, it's Boise State at the Fiesta Bowl. I believe in the. It is
the 18, book at them.
Yeah, it is 18 years minus 1 day to the day since their victory over Oklahoma. No, if they did it before, I believe they have the running back to do it again. I'll be rooting hard for them. We'll see.
Man. We're pulling. Oh man, Ian Book out of this. Okay, here we go. Notre Dame versus Georgia. This is an intriguing matchup. Is Georgia as real as they feel, and is Notre Dame realer than they look? Like, is it really UGA -1? And that's a pretty tight line. Murph, is this the second best matchup after Ohio State? Oregon?
Easily.
Yeah.
Okay. Easily the second best matchup. Not a question in my mind. The one thing, actually, after watching a little bit more bowl season, I'm more and more on board with Notre Dame here. And, Carson Beck's out. Georgia's not going to be able to throw the ball. The backup, Stockton, I mean, Leonard, the Notre Dame quarterback, has more passing touchdowns than Stockton has passing attempts. So the experience difference is pretty massive in quarterback play here. Notre Dame likes to run the ball as well. Georgia's rush defense, they got gashed by Georgia Tech. They've been gashed at times. They've been elite at times. This has not necessarily always been the best Georgia defense that we've seen in years past. But at the end of the day, the SEC has not looked great in the bowl so far. Bama, lost to Michigan earlier today. USC, won their bowl game versus Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
The only real marquee win that the SEC has gotten so far, like I'm not even talking bowl season, just in general, has been versus Clemson. They've done it 3 times. Georgia, South Carolina, and Texas all have housed Clemson. But outside that, there's been kind of a dearth of big wins for the conference in general. I'm starting to think Notre Dame looked really good versus Indiana. And if they're able to play that level of defense versus a Georgia team on their backup quarterback that is going to run the ball, then I think, I really like Notre Dame in this game, and I love it straight up The betting line looks very favorable.
Nice.
Yeah, after Stockton came in and led them on a touchdown drive for Georgia, and then after that, his last 13 dropbacks, he had 15 combined passing yards. Like the passing game just completely fell apart. So yeah, it'll be I could see Notre Dame winning this despite me rooting for them to lose.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll get to that. So this is a pretty interesting slate. I think weirdly, because there are kind of, I don't want to call them pillow fights, but there are kind of like the big matchup and then the not as big matchup happening on both sides of the bracket. You could end up with another like, like more compelling games happening now in the quarterfinal round than possibly in the semifinal, and that's where, like, because I think Georgia Notre Dame is pretty intriguing. I think Georgia still has the defense and the size in the trenches to like really make some noise. And if you make Notre Dame uncomfortable, like, we have to see what that looks like, honestly. That's
Northern Illinois did.
Okay, yeah, but like, come on. I mean, like, no, we're talking about like actual, like, hey, you guys prep for this game, care about this game, like, are trying, but yeah, pretty interesting matchups on both sides. Pivoting from CFP to NFL to the real football, boys. We're talking about the real football today. All right, final week storylines. Murph and I got in a spirited argument about the MVP voting. I was really just saying Sam Darnold's going to get at least one vote if he wins next week. At least two. At least two. But I think it's pretty consensus that we're staring at a Lamar versus Josh Allen final week. Is there anything that's going to make Lamar like pull ahead of Josh? Because I feel like Josh kind of solidified his candidacy by destroying the Jets last week. What's your guys' take on this MVP race? Let's start with Dan, actually.
I still see Josh Allen ahead because of what we were saying last time we talked about this. The narratives, like, he's sort of seen as being due one, but I mean, Lamar Jackson's playing out of his mind. Like, if on paper, I would probably give it to Jackson, like, in a vacuum, personally, but I think Allen will win it unless he absolutely collapses completely this weekend, and like, it would take something crazy, I think.
So you're saying it's Josh's to lose?
I think it's Josh's to lose.
Okay.
But I would give it to Lamar.
Yeah, I mean, I think the vote's pretty much already been decided at this point. Josh Allen's probably not going to play much at all, if at all. This past week, they have nothing to play for. They're locked in the 2 seed. So he's not going to play. I think Lamar can definitely eliminate himself with a bad performance. If they lose, they could lose the division to Pittsburgh, and that would officially eliminate him from contention, I would say. But similar to Dan, if I were a voter, I would pick Lamar. But if Lamar doesn't win, I'm not going to be too broken up over it. I don't think he deserved last year's. So him finishing with 2 after this year seems about right for me, for how well he's played. For the same reason that I didn't like him last year is the same reason I like him this year. It's kind of the argument working against him on this one. But so yeah. But Josh Allen, I think he's going to end up getting it. Is the 2 seed. Narrative seems to be all in his favor. They're neck and neck, but I personally prefer Lamar's argument to Josh Allen's as well. But I don't think there's really anything else to be decided. I don't think Lamar can do anything to woo the voters at this point. All he can do is lose voters.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, that's kind of the read I have as well. All right, to the playoff spots. Let's take a look at the playoff picture here. All right, so we've got, oh God. All right, the Lions in the 1 seed, Eagles in the 2 seed. This playoff bracket, I know we have rants later, but like I'm saving my rants for something else. This playoff bracket sucks, guys. Here's what's going to happen if the season ends today. The Lions have the first round bye. The Eagles have to play the Packers in the first round. Congrats on winning the 2 seed. You get the second scariest team in the NFC. Like, legit, like, and then the freaking Commanders and Rams play each other in a pillow fight. I don't understand the logic behind that. The seeding is broken. This is BS. Like, the Packers are clearly like top 3 team in the NFC. Like, this is so dumb. Like, I'm so upsetting. Top 4. Yeah. Top 4. Yeah, I forgot about us. They're top 3 threat in the NFC to the Eagles. And you got to play them in the freaking first round. Does that make sense to you? And then the commies and the Rams get to play each other. Like, what kind of collusive BS is this? Oh my God! All right, sorry. I think the playoffs should be reseeded once they have the slots. Just be like, all right, yeah, no, you get to play the Rams, because you ran all over them and you get to do it again. This is BS. But going into this the final week, in the hunt on the bubble, AFC is the intriguing part. Broncos in the hunt still, so they can clinch. On the bubble, the Dolphins and the Bengals. If I believe the Dolphins lose, and is it
the Broncos have to lose?
Broncos have to lose. The Bengals could theoretically sneak into the playoffs, like a Playboy, like a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model in Joe Burrow's house. This is gonna be really interesting. I think the Bengals have a shot, but it's a really slim one, obviously. But if the Bengals make the playoffs, does any team want to play that team? Like, they look like they haven't lost. I feel like they haven't lost in a month. Like, what the hell's going on here? Like, guys, which team is the scariest out of this trio? Broncos, Dolphins, Bengals.
I mean, I think the Bills would be absolutely livid to get the 2 seed and then have to play the Bengals in round 1.
Yeah.
That's a team that's had their number in the playoffs as well. To just add insult to injury, to play Joe Burrow, clicking on all cylinders. I do think it is unlikely this is going to happen. The Chiefs will probably start Mahomes and play him for about a quarter and a half, but they're going to be going against Carson Wentz for the vast majority of that game. The Dolphins are playing a checked out Jets team that just laid over for the Bills last week. The vibes in that team could not be worse. It's just tough to envision both of those teams losing, considering who they're playing against, to open up the door for the Bengals. But you got to think the rest of the AFC contenders want nothing to do with this. And the Chiefs don't want anything to do with it either. There's Andy Reid, because if the Bengals beat the Bills, that's who they're getting in the next round as well. I'd much rather would get the Steelers Texans winner, which is what they're in line to get right now. Yeah. So they absolutely probably prefer the Bengals staying out, which means that they're more likely to try and throw that Broncos game in the first place, which will be pretty easy to do with Carson Wentz.
Interesting point. But say Carson Wentz is playing for one more shot at the starting job. Maybe this is his Matt Flynn moment. And maybe he's the fly in the ointment, because he was sure as hell was the fly in the ointment on our payroll for a while there. So I think Murph, you bring up a good point. The Chiefs are incentivized to tank out of this and basically just eliminate Joe Burrow by default. Because the dude is a problem. Like he's a legit problem. And
that offense could beat anyone right now. The defense,
that defense could lose to anybody also. Yeah. But like the offense can beat anybody.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're the Chiefs and you're staring down, we're gonna get Bengals and Ravens en route to the Super Bowl, or we're gonna get Steelers / Texans and then the Ravens Bills winner. Like, they prefer the latter route 10 times out of 10.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Speaking of ugly routes and fun stuff, we'll go back to the NFC side. Lions have been kind of shaky. All right. And let's go into the matchup, because this is basically my matchup that I'm looking forward to watching. It's appointment TV this week, guys. Lions Vikings is appointment TV. Like, this is going to be a very interesting thing. If the Lions lose, they have a first round matchup against the Tampa Bakers, which basically means that's a trap game, dude. Like, this Lions D was looking very shaky yesterday, and I think that if they sell this game to the Vikings, they have a date with the Bucks possibly. That's a tough out for a Lions D that looks honestly
everyone's
worn
hurt.
out. Everyone's hurt. Like, they're all gone. Like, I don't know half these dudes.
Also, Tampa beat them when the D was healthy.
Yeah, that too.
So yeah. That's one of their only losses.
Yeah. So Tampa, I think, like, if they have to match up against Tampa, that's a tough out. So I think that's kind of what we're staring down if that happens. So I think it's a very consequential game. That's the matchup I'm looking most forward to. I know you guys don't give a micro FUCK about the Vikings or the Lions. So Murph, what's your matchup that you're looking forward to this week?
I'll just say also, I think the Vikings are going to win that one. Just they're a more balanced team, and Darnold will go ham on that defense. But we kind of went over it. I think Oregon, Ohio State is the biggest matchup for me, at least. It's tough for me to get into these NFL regular season ones when they either need 3 results to go their way to be interesting or fighting for a 1 seed for a playoff tournament. Like, this is an elimination game. This is the matchup for me. I think it's the best college football matchup out. And I think it's probably going to be the best football. Well, maybe not the best football game. Minnesota, Detroit's going to have points. But this is going to be a great matchup. I'm excited for the Rose Bowl.
Nice. Dan, how about you?
In the wake of last week's NBA discussion, my New Year's resolution is to force us to talk about the NBA.
It's not January 1st yet, though.
Dude, it's straight up
January
NBA.
1st, some places.
I'm putting NBA with EPL and Champions League. I'm legit, like, I'm out on NBA. Like, I don't care, but like, all right, screw it. Let's do it. I
get to pick something to talk about every week, and I'm going to talk about the NBA. So I was going to pick Celtics Thunder, which is a good matchup, but the uniforms that the Thunder, they're going to be wearing black at home, which is awful. So I'm going to go with the Spurs Nuggets home and home. That they got this. Everyone's wearing the correct uniforms. The Spurs are using their very nice light blues at home. It'll be Wembanyama against Jokic. It'll be cool matchup. I saw those two play in person at the end, second to last game last season in San Antonio. It was very good, and I would look forward to seeing the Wembanyama Jokic matchup.
I would just like to apologize to our listeners that Dan is in a fantasy basketball league and therefore are forcing all of us to think about the NBA about 2 months ahead of schedule. Okay. Thanks, Dan.
Of course.
Good to know. I didn't know Wemby was playing Jokic. I'm not sure if I care. I never thought I'd miss EPL talk or Champions League talk. Gratitude and rants. Murph, kick us off. Gratitude and rants.
Yeah, my gratitude is to, someone that I've previously trashed, I think, many times over the years. But I'd like to say, thank you for Scrooge McDuck, Ken Kendrick, opening up that wallet, seeing the ghosts of Christmas past and future. He shut out the money, got us Corbin Burnes. I'm now a lot more excited about this upcoming baseball season because of it. I really didn't think he was going to do this after he refused to invest in the team in 2018. So I'm really excited. And hopefully this is an indication that we'll be seeing stuff like this more because we're still going to be in a contention window for a couple of years. I would like to see him continue to further on this. Not my hopes, but at least I have some hope, which I never had before.
And your rant.
Oh yeah. My rant is going to be back to college football. All those SEC people talking about how Bama deserved to get in, and then they lay that egg versus Michigan. Jalen Milroe looks awful. People trying to gaslight us into him being a first-round quarterback. Absolutely not. That guy looks absolutely horrible. That'd be Anthony Richardson 2.0. There's a smaller version of him. The guy can't complete a pass, can't read a blitz to save his life. I think they blitzed 15 times and sacked him on double-digit of them. It was absolutely embarrassing. They'll probably blame the weather, but it stopped raining in the second quarter and they put up 3 points after that. So I don't really want to hear much of that. They had a touchdown late when they were down 2 scores. That's the team that we were supposed to be worried about making the playoffs. When Indiana and SMU got blown out, what'd we constantly hear? Bama would have done better. Bama had all these theoretical victories. I'll also throw in that the other favorite SEC team, South Carolina, they're in the final minute about to lose to Illinois. So all these SEC teams left out because they're hard schedules, can't even win their bowl games against these mediocre Big Ten schools. So yeah, Sankey, grow up. Alabama fans, get over it. Your team wasn't good. They didn't deserve it. And, I think it's very sweet for Michigan fans to know that they they started their year beating Alabama and they ended 2024 beating Alabama.
Very nice. I think that's something we can all get aboard. Like, fuck you, Paul Feinbaum. Sorry.
I went loud with that one. They ain't playing on Paul.
Oh man. Oh, okay. Dan, you've got a little video for your rant, so I'm gonna pull that up.
Whoa. overachieving out here.
Yeah, but before we get to the video, where are we with this?
That's what happens here. Oh,
sorry. I'll play it when it's time. But Dan, you have to be grateful for something before you rant.
Yes, I'm sticking with the NBA here. I'm going NBA with all three of my picks today. I'm thankful for the Lakers finally making a positive move, trading away D'Angelo Russell, who's been struggling so much this year, back to the Nets. The same trade that we did a few years ago, and getting back an actual 3-and-D guy, so that Anthony Davis doesn't have to be the entire Lakers defense by himself. I'm thankful for that. LeBron James turned 40 yesterday, and considering he's le GM, I assume he had a hand in it, and thankful for all of that. Happy
birthday, Le GM. Happy birthday to the basketball GOAT. Oh my gosh, dude, let's go. 40
man,
40.
Still
he's a man now. Yeah, he's a man now.
He's a man.
He's a man. He's 40. And he can still drop 40. That's the other crazy part.
Yeah, it's wild what he's doing. And he said he could play another 5 to 7 years, which
shut up, LeBron.
I
Please don't do that. We can't afford that.
He can indeed keep getting away.
Shut
with
your whore mouth, dude. We're not paying that contract.
Someone will.
Yeah, not us. Oh God. Remember how Kobe just milked us for the last 2 years? Oh God.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it was fun in a very sad way.
That team was so bad. Oh my Lord.
Yeah. So why not let Kobe shoot
60 times? Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, and it's rant time. You have a video queued up for us.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all saw this Draymond Green play last night.
Oh, George, that's a good screen on Draymond. Draymond drags him to the ground.
Drags down George Young and then slaps him in the face.
Suggested that
Draymond Green has been getting away with this kind of shit for however many years, and it is
George was hot, and
so exhausting that it keeps happening in the NBA. Just essentially lets it happen now. I really dislike Draymond Green's just continued assault on the rule book, and also the league having him sort of forcing him as a talking head, which it contrasts so much with having time to have him be this sort of almost likable guy on screen, while seeing all the very shitty stuff that he pulls on the court it's completely very hard to take him seriously. And I hate that it keeps happening.
Well, I think part of the blame,
done a couple things, but but he's still never broken the code. And I think that's the important thing for Steve Kerr in that locker room. Is that no matter what he's done, there's been no code broken. Punch a teammate's jaw, no code broken. Kick a guy in the balls. Right. No code has been broken. So,
you know what the craziest part is? He got Jordan Poole. He basically ended Jordan Poole's career.
Yep.
That part I don't understand. How do you get a? Oh my God. And
speaking of the code, did you all see Nick Young celebrating D'Angelo Russell getting traded?
Get out and don't come back.
Nick, Iggy Azalea is not that big a catch, bro. Calm down. It's all right, bro. You'll be fine. Oh my Lord. Hung up on that though. The thing about snitching is you're not supposed to be the one who enforces it. Everybody else got to enforce it. You know what I mean? Come on, Nick. Yo, but back to Draymond. I kind of partially blame old school NBA fans who are like, there's not enough contact. This league is soft, blah, 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 blah. And they're probably giving Draymond that platform. You ever notice the TNT inside the NBA panel tends to be they've got the young people version with Candace Parker and Shaq and all that. And then they got the old heads. And Draymond's always sitting with the old heads. He's got that kind of old head stamp, I guess. But yeah, it's a difference. It's a thin line between hard-nosed play and being a jackass, and ending your teammate's career, because he called you a backpack, what? Bruh, it's true. You are a backpack. What the hell? Were you taking that personal? You not seeing these box scores, bro? You're not doing anything.
As Chuck would say, triple single out there again.
Triple single out here. Oh my God. The most notable thing you do is set a screen for Steph and then you lob the ball back in. You know, like what? Like, get out of here, bro. Like,
also the thing is, this was so easy to see. Like once his skill started declining, like obviously he was going to try and make up for it in other ways. And this was just so predictable. And the league's continuation of just, little slaps on the wrist is clearly showing him that he can get away with it.
Little slaps on the wrist sometimes, like
it's occasional.
Yeah,
but his line stepping is habitual.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the problem. Is like he does this all the time. He just gets away, and then he always like argues with the refs, like he's right or something. I'm just like, bro, how long you been in the league to like think like this still works? You know, and like, yeah, I'm with you, man. I almost using up my rant time to talk about Draymond. Yeah, I'm tired of his crap, and
yeah.
The Jordan Poole thing was really like, I know we clown on Jordan Poole and it's easy to clown on him and, he makes it easy on us. Like he makes it easier on us. But like when he called Draymond a backpack, I was like, that's the truest thing anybody said on that team. Like that's just real.
The Jordan Poole thing was bad. I think the last straw for me was the Domantas Sabonis stomp. That was Bush. That was so blatant. It was like, come on, man.
Yeah. Sorry, we're not getting Christmas cards from Draymond Green anytime soon, but like screw that guy. Okay, gratitude rants for me real quick. They're both USC related. USC football won against Texas A&M in their Las Vegas bowl game. Jordan Mayava had his typical EKG type performance, where it was like, oh, you threw 3 picks, but game-winning drive, I guess. Like, all right, cool. I want to give a shout out to Jacoby Lane and all the players who showed up and played, didn't enter the portal. Big shout out my boy Makai Lemon. Kai, you are a 5-star talent who stuck around, didn't go to the portal, like didn't do any of this BS. Like Zach and Zion Branch are already in the portals, they didn't show up. Like I like these guys who stay loyal to the schools, and I appreciate it a lot. Like, I know it's not the best for their careers, like, or it might be, who knows? Like, Makai might get a bunch of targets next year. But my thing is, like, thanks for sticking around. I appreciate that. This is a rough year for USC football. Like, we had so many close games, so many blown games in the fourth quarter. Like, it's a heartbreaking year to follow this team, and I can't imagine how hard it is on the players. But to come out and win against an equally choking team in Texas A&M, I mean, Texas, I don't know what to say, man. Like A&M, I'm sorry, guys. Like, somebody had to win that game, right? Like, oh my God, a more precipitous fall from grace. Like, we do ours in game, they do theirs like over a season. Like, that was really impressive.
There's nothing more sure in life than Texas A&M going 8-5.
Yeah, it's just, oh man, I feel bad, but like, it was tough on the players, like a horrendous year for the players, and I'm so proud of them for sticking through. The ones that stayed, they deserved every bit of that win, and they should soak it in. And here comes the rant part.
Before you do that, I did want to point out USC now has more wins at Allegiant Stadium than the Raiders this year.
Nice.
Just thought I'd throw that in there.
Real nice. Two programs like link throughout history, by the way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my rant is to our fans, and as much as I dunk on Dodger fans for being like super entitled and whiny, USC fans for some reason just think like it's supposed to be 2004 every year, and I don't know how to tell them that was 2 decades ago. Like, legit, like, kids have been born after Reggie Bush won a Heisman and played for our team. So, like, please stop. Like, it's like shocking how entitled the program's fans can be. And like, to think that just because you're not in the national title picture, just because you don't have a Heisman candidate QB, that this season is a wash or a fail. Like, dude, I have a little bit of a soft spot for college sports, even though these kids are getting paid, because they're kids. You know what I mean? They're like, I remember when I was 19, I was dumb, dude. Like, what the hell? Like, and they're showing more discipline, more commitment, and putting in hard work. And I just want that to go appreciated. I wish like college sports didn't have the fan bases that were like dunking on the kids, dunking on the school, dunking on the coach. Like stop, dude. Like, USC fans are freaking the worst sometimes, dude. Like, they're so entitled and bratty. Like, we gotta stop, man. Like, we are where we are right now. And yeah, Lincoln probably saved his job, but like, Lincoln's gonna keep his job. His school's hurting for cash, dog. That buyout's like $88 million, dude. We're not paying that. Like, so like my thing is just to our fans, like, chill the F out, dude. Like, they can't always be Caleb Williams years. They can't be Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush years. They can't even be Sam Darnold years all the time. Okay, like it's just we have that advantage, and we can expect like good things to happen around our program because historically we've been great. But like, cool it on the crazy expectations and thinking you contribute anything. I don't even care if you're a season ticket holder. I don't care unless you're a booster. I don't want you talking. Like, shut up, dude. Like, you don't do enough for the team to like have a sense of entitlement about what happens to these kids. Okay, like they play their hearts out for us. They go to school on top of that. Like, just let them be, man. Let them live life, man. Like when I was 19, I didn't have to care about any of this stuff. They do. So, yeah. And my rants for the USC fan base, like, chill the F out. And on that note, I think we've rounded home. We've hit all the bases, and we're about to stomp on this thing. Thank you so much, Dan Grievitz, Collin Murphy, my co-hosts, brothers in arms. And this is always on a personal note, guys. Like, I know it's the end of the year, and maybe this is a time to be sappy. It's the highlight of my week, just talking to you guys and having a podcast. Having a podcast is really just a pretense for us to like talk sports, So I really appreciate it. And Murph, like, I don't know, you remember Baller TV, and Dan, you were at Baller TV too. It was a place where we were able to just kind of shoot the SHIT whenever we wanted, right? Like, we could just talk sports and chill. And since the pandemic, everything just kind of like scattered out. So to have like a central place where we meet and do this is awesome. And so if we have listeners, like, thank you so much. We actually do get views and listeners on our thing, by the way, like on our videos on YouTube. So if you're tuning in, thanks so much for tuning in. Best of health, happiness, sports luck in 2025 to all of our listeners. And Dan, sorry, Murph. You paid $210 million to a pitcher. You don't need any more luck. You guys have done it. Like,
oh no, someone else in the division spent money. That's got you broken up.
But yeah, no, I just want to wish all our listeners the best of health and a wonderful 2025. I hope all your dreams come true, except for your sports dreams. And let's see what else. That's it. So like and subscribe. Hit that bell. When we go online, we were a little bit earlier today, but Murph's got somewhere to be, and so thanks again for joining us, guys. Go Dodgers.
See y'all next year.
Yes, see you in 2025.
All right. Damn, 2 hours. You weren't kidding, Murph. It was 2 hours.
I mean, I was just looking at the list of stuff.